Hello and welcome back, adventurers. I have something special for you today. 3 handwritten accounts of horror. 3 stories of evil overtaking a person's heart. Our first tale is a classic, so if you are determined enough to proceed and learn the truth of Strahd's downfall, then please stay a while and listen. I am the ancient, I am the land. My beginnings are lost in the darkness of the past. I was the warrior, I was good and just. I thundered across the land like the wrath of a just god, but the war years and the killing years wore down my soul as the wind wears stone into sand. All goodness slipped from my life. I found my youth and strength gone, and all I had left was death. My army settled in the valley of Barovia and took power over the people in the name of a just god, but with none of a god's grace or justice. I called for my family, long unseated from their ancient thrones, and brought them here to settle into Castle Ravenloft. They came with a younger brother of mine, Sergei. He was handsome and youthful. I hated him for both. From the families of the valley, one spirit shone above all others, a rare beauty who was called perfection, joy, and treasure. Her name was Tatiana, and I longed for her to be mine. I loved her with all my heart. I loved her for her youth. I loved her for her joy. But she spurned me. Old One was my name to her. Elder and brother also. Her heart went to Sergei. They were betrothed. The date was set. With words she called me brother, but when I looked into her eyes they reflected another name. Death. It was the death of the aged that she saw in me. She loved her youth and enjoyed it, but I had squandered mine. The death she saw in me turned her from me. And so I came to hate death. My death. My hate is very strong. I would not be called death so soon. I made a pact with death. A pact of blood. On the day of the wedding, I killed Sergei, my brother. My pact was sealed with his blood. I found Tatiana weeping in the garden east of the chapel. She fled from me. She would not let me explain, and a great anger swelled within me. She had to understand the pact I made for her. I pursued her. Finally, in despair, she flung herself from the walls of Ravenloft, and I watched everything I ever wanted fall from my grasp forever. It was 1,000 feet through the mists. No trace of her was ever found, not even I know her final fate. Arrows from the castle guards pierced me to my soul, but I did not die, nor did I live. I became undead forever. I have studied much since then. Vampire is my new name. I still lust for life and youth, and I curse the living that took them from me. Even the sun is against me. It is the sun and light I fear the most, but a little else can harm me now. Even a stake for my heart does not kill me, though it holds me from movement. But the sword, the cursed sword that Sergei brought, I must dispose of that awful tool. I fear and hate it as much as the sun. I have often hunted for Tatiana. I have even felt her within my grasp, but she escapes me. She taunts me. She taunts me. What will it take to bend her to love me? I now reside far below Ravenloft. I live among the dead and sleep beneath the very stone of this hollow castle of despair. I shall seal shut the walls of the stairs, that none may disturb me. Fascinating, isn't it? How love turns into blind obsession, driving people to dark deals. Well now, if you are still with me, our next tale takes us to Mordia, to the castle where the monster under human guise was born. Lucky for us, Victor Mordenheim writes all his experiments down. 19 November, 02. It came to me last night. The secrets of all secrets. How to restore life to a limp, soulless vessel and make it breathe and walk among us. But the vision was shadowy and veiled. I saw the heart of it, but knew not how to make it beat. 31st January, 06. Still the vision haunts me. In the few hours of sleep I allow myself each night, it comes to me, imploring me to lift the veil that surrounds it, a shroud that clings to it as a foolish mother attempts to shield her son from his destiny. The vision remains with me through my waking hours. I know I must cast all other thoughts aside and draw this secret into the light. It is my duty, my calling, because I alone have the skill and intellect to bring this greatest of gifts to mankind. 12 March, 10. Elise, my darling wife, has gone. I have sent her to reside with her cousins in Fürstenberg, despite her protests. It is for the best. Now no one, nothing can distract me. With each day's work I grow closer. With each night's work I grow closer still. I must not falter now. A storm is coming. A great dark storm. And I must be prepared to greet it. 6 November, 15. For 13 years I have labored, tireless, devoted. I have performed 1,000 experiments. Dissections, vivisection, injections, first with mice, then rabbits, then dogs, and finally men. Now, at last, I have the answer. I alone fully understand the complex electrochemical alterations which occur in the tiniest particle of a cell. I am drunk with knowledge. I alone know the secret of prompting those alterations in a single cell of a corpse's flesh. I alone can impart the proverbial spark of life to its limp, livid tissue, a spark that will spread from cell to cell as a wildfire sweeps across the sun-parched plain. Tonight, at the height of the storm, when the time was proper and the body correct, I accomplished precisely that. I have created life. He is assembled from the finest part. His arms are stronger than the arms of Hercules, his legs swifter than the legs of Hermes. His face, grotesque to some, of course, is to me more handsome than the face of Apollo. I will call him Adam. He is my masterpiece, my creation, my manly son. Only wonders can unfold in the days ahead. 13 November, 15. As I suspected, his mind is a blank slate. Mind to shape, his father molds the mind of his child. I wanted to share my joy with darling Elise, to make my child, my brainchild, her own as well. I sent for her, and she has returned. It is clear that the Adam adores her, but she is afraid of him. She claims she stays only to protect the man she once knew. I am better than the man she knew. She hovers around like a madwoman, wringing her hands, imploring me to destroy him. I would send her away were her face not so sweet to me still. But I know, in time, she will lose her insane fear and thrill in Adam's progress as much as I. To appease her, I keep him locked in the tower rooms nearest to my laboratory. 17th February, 16. He has exceeded all expectations. Within weeks, he was no longer a simpleton, and to date, he has attained a level of knowledge some men never attain. His personality is becoming distinct, his will his own, yet his mind is still childlike. His intellectual progress has far surpassed his social maturation. He appears to be void of any sense of morality. Elise claims he is evil, but that is nonsense. She is simply afraid, because he appeared suddenly beside her one night, peering innocently through the bed curtains. Knowledge alone is not evil, and he is purely that, knowledge without experience in the etiquette and necessities of social interactions. 28 February, 17. He is yet the child he should be, genius that he is, but something has changed. At times when I gaze at him, I imagine that he is a man older than I am myself. It is as if the soul of a stranger had found a home in the body of my construction. I must divorce myself from my emotion in order to address the true problem, his immaturity. 12 March, 17. I cannot take him into the world, so I have brought the world to him. I have found a playmate for Adam. She is perfect, a true foundling, a child of 7 years with no family but our own. She lay in a alley in the village at the doors of death, and I have rescued her. Elise has nursed her back to health. What a transformation! To know that beneath the bedraggled and filthy little heap I plucked from the street was an angel, a living sweetness, with gleaming blonde hair, and dark, sparkling eyes that would melt the coldest heart. How can she help but inspire virtue in our Adam? Elise begs me not to introduce her to him, proclaiming that it is not safe. She threatens to leave me if I do, but I know she will not. Of course, I will take the proper precautions and never leave them unsupervised. I will watch them carefully and observe Adam's progress. I have named the girl Eva. 2nd April, 17. The weather is queer. For 2 days our castle have been cloaked in dense fog. By day, the light is eerie, grey. By night, it is dark as steel. Yesterday evening, I stepped outside for a moment, but could see nothing beyond the tips of my fingers. All around was the sound of water dripping from the trees. Today, the mists appear lighter. Perhaps tomorrow they will lift altogether. They seem to affect Adam. He is agitated, and I can hear him pacing in his bedchambers. 4th April, 17. Hell has descended upon us. Last night I awakened to the sound of screams. They emanated from Eva's chamber, echoing down the vast hall that separated it from our own room. I rushed in and found Elise crumpled beside the empty bed, her body broken and bent. Her face was tense with pain and her wide eyes were fixed upon the corner of the room. Eva was missing. Then I saw Adam, his eyes wild with fury. He stepped out of the shadows. He held a small piece of cloth, tattered white linen with lace that flecked with red. It was the lace from Eva's nightclothes. I lunged at him. Instead of meeting his hard, massive form, I fell into a void, my hands striking only shadows before I crashed to the floor. I saw him plunge through the open window 3 stories from the ground. I stood at the casing, amazed, and watched his dark form disappear into the mists. 9th April, 17. I have not slept in days. Elise awakened briefly today, calling for Eva. I keep her sedated so that she will not realize her condition. 27th April, 17. Today, I must remove another part to save the whole. There is little left of darling Elise, yet, under my constant care, she still lives. I have not ventured from castle in weeks. I do not know what became of Eva. The truth is too horrid to contemplate. Adam is gone forever, of that I am sure. I do not care what becomes of him. Another purpose drives me now. Elise must be restored. The vigil seems to have affected my vision. Outside, the landscape looks blurred and strange. Today, I must leave to begin the grim search. Only perfection will suffice. It will be the last construction by the architect of flesh. But I will not rest until it is done, and I have atoned for the hell that I have brought upon her. Heed the mad scientist's warning, adventurers. You won't know what is important to you before you lose it. So at least take care of what you love. And finally, our last account talks about Isu Remhotep, priestess of the gods from Harakir. I have discovered a mysterious scroll fragment secreted away in a compartment in observatory. I first read its ancient text with great excitement, but when I saw what it contained, I was horrified. It was part of a foul ritual to raise one of the children of Anktopot and enslave the monster. I tried to burn it, but the flames refused to touch the parchment. Osiris, forgive me, but I cannot destroy it. I cannot help myself. The thought of the scroll burns in my mind. I have tried everything to destroy it. Maybe it was not meant to be destroyed. Could it be that the gods want me to use the scroll? I have prayed to Osiris for weeks, but received no answer. Surely they would not have placed such a temptation before me if I were not supposed to use it. No, I cannot think that. The scroll is the evil work of Set and must not be used by anyone. I see now that Osiris is a weak god. How could I have thought him to be worthy of my worship? Set the mysterious not only killed Osiris but was able to withstand the vengeance of Horus. Surely Set is the most powerful of the deities. I now pledge my life and will to serve the dark secrets of my lord Set. I have decided to use the scroll to enslave one of Anktopot's children. They lie mummified and enshrined in the tomb of Anktopot. After consulting the stars, I have learned when his tomb can be opened. Soon I shall be a master of the living dead. First, I must complete the spell. Only the first part is recorded on the scroll. My lord Set shall guide my hand. I have done it! I walked through the tomb of the gods and have woken the living dead. Senmet, priest of Anktopot, serves Lord Set through me. Together, we shall leave this cursed land to conquer all that lies beyond the walls of Ra. Thank you so much for your time, patient listeners. With All Hallows Eve approaching us, I thought it prudent to give you all a warning. All the stories here are real and have happened to those blinded by their out-of-control ambition. So please, hug your loved ones and be careful while crossing the mists.